At Rikers Island, they'll break your jaw in the shower before you finish breakfast. But the broken bones aren't the punishment. What comes after is a fate worse than death. This is the story of how one word gets you erased from the inside. 6,000 inmates. One rule above all others. Snitch, and you have 48 hours before they come for you. But here's what you don't see coming. The guards won't save you. Because at Rikers, 73% of snitch attacks happen when COs are conveniently off the block. That's not negligence. That's the system. Marcus Rodriguez, 22 years old. Arrested on drug charges. You might think his mistake was talking to police. It wasn't. His mistake was answering 3 questions at intake. Day 1. 4:17 a.m. A corrections officer asked about his co-defendants. Marcus thought he was just filling out forms. He had no idea those forms get passed around. By 6 a.m., his intake sheet was in the hands of the counsel. By 8 a.m., someone in Gen Pop knew his entire case. By noon, his name was on the list. But what Marcus didn't know yet was that he'd already broken the one rule that keeps you alive at Rikers. And in 72 hours, he'd pay for it in blood. Information moves faster inside than it does outside. Before you finish processing, someone's already read your paperwork. They know your charges, your co-defendants, your plea deal. And if there's even a whisper you cooperated, you get a jacket. That's prison slang for a reputation that follows you everywhere. Your bunk gets moved. Your cellie requests a transfer. Nobody sits with you at meals. But that's just the beginning of the isolation protocol. Because at Rikers, being alone isn't punishment. It's the setup. There's a rule at Rikers that doesn't exist in the handbook. Rule 48. If you're suspected of cooperating, you have 48 hours to prove otherwise. No trial. No evidence required. Just suspicion is enough. Marcus had no idea he was on the clock. Day 3. 2 p.m. Someone approached him in the yard. Let me see your paperwork. Marcus didn't have it. Didn't think he needed it. That's when he learned about the council. Every housing unit at Rikers has 3 to 5 inmates who run the block. They decide who eats, who gets commissary, who gets protection, and they decide what happens to snitches. Marcus was told to report to the bathroom at lights out. What happens in the next 10 minutes isn't officially recorded. The COs on night shift were conveniently on break. This is called turning the blind eye. When guards need inmates to enforce their own justice, they create windows. 7 minutes. No supervision. No witnesses. Marcus walked in. 5 inmates were waiting. But here's where it gets surgical. They don't use weapons that leave evidence. Rolled magazines. Bars of soap in socks. Padlocks in pillowcases. Blunt force that bruises internally. Nothing the camera can see. Nothing that proves assault. Marcus spent 4 days in the medical unit. He told the doctors he fell. Because that's Rule 2 of the snitch code. If you tell on your attackers, you become a double snitch. And that's when they put you in protective custody. Which is exactly where you don't want to be. Protective custody at Rikers isn't protection. It's solitary confinement with a different name. 23 hours in a 6x9 box. 1 hour of rec time in a cage smaller than your cell. No programs. No jobs. No phone calls. And here's what breaks people. The inmates in PC are the ones everyone wants dead. Snitches. Cops. Child predators. You're locked in a unit with the most hated people in the system. And you still aren't safe. Because even in PC, the council's reach extends. There are inmates who take jobs in PC just to get access. Porters. Cleaners. Kitchen workers. They'll contaminate your food. They'll flood your cell while you sleep. They'll tell everyone on the outside where you are. Marcus lasted 6 weeks in PC before he tried to hang himself. The guard found him in time. But that's when he learned the final truth about Rikers. The system doesn't want you to die. It wants you to suffer long enough to never speak again. There are only 3 ways to survive a snitch jacket at Rikers. Option 1. Prove your paperwork is clean. Show everyone the official records. No cooperation. No testimony. If your paperwork checks out, the council backs off. Option 2. Check into PC immediately. Admit you're a target before someone makes you one. You lose your freedom, but you keep your life. But option 3 is the rarest. You fight back. Not just once. Every single time. You prove you'd rather die than submit. And if you survive enough attacks, sometimes the council decides you've earned your respect back. Marcus chose option 3. He spent 8 months fighting. Lost 6 teeth. Broke his hand twice. But when he walked out of Rikers in 2019, he walked out without a jacket. If you ever end up at Rikers, these are the rules that keep you breathing. Rule 1. Never talk to COs about other inmates. Not even small talk. Not even complaints. Every word you say to a guard is assumed to be cooperation. Rule 2. Get your paperwork on day 1. Request your discovery. Your court files. Your plea agreement. Keep them on you at all times. Rule 3. Never eat alone. If you can't find anyone to sit with, you're already marked. Stay in groups. Stay visible. Stay protected. But here's the rule nobody talks about. Rule 4. Make yourself useful immediately. Learn a skill. Barber. Artist. Lawyer. If you provide value, people protect you. Even snitches can survive if they become essential. Rule 5. Know your exits. Every day room. Every shower. Every corridor. Know where guards stand. Where cameras point. Where crowds gather. If something happens, you need 3 seconds to disappear. These rules won't guarantee survival, but they'll give you a chance. Here's what they don't tell you about Rikers. In 2023, a federal investigation revealed that over 40% of violence at Rikers is directly linked to the snitch identification system. Guards intentionally leak information to inmates. They use the council to maintain control without getting their hands dirty. It's not a bug in the system. It's the design. And Marcus? He survived Rikers. Got released. Stayed clean. But 3 weeks after his release, someone from his old block found him. The snitch jacket never comes off. Not even on the outside. Next episode, Inside ADX Florence, where the worst of the worst are buried alive. And what happens when solitary confinement becomes your entire life? If you want to see inside America's darkest prisons, subscribe now. New episodes